We give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ha, Rakah, Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, spreading the good news of the gospel, teaching this truth throughout the world, and who rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing the word to the four corners of the earth in all sincerity and risking their life to do so.
Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, Wa Abba Babal. All right, so we just had a spiritual event happen on this holy week of remembering the Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication. All right, when the Israelites got the temple back, being at war with the Greeks, and the Greeks were Edomites, so-called Caucasians back in the past. But that same event is happening now. Once again, things repeat. And it's with the Israelites against the Roman Edomites. All right? After the Greek kingdom, you had a Roman kingdom of Edom, which were in the second leg at the 10 toes. All right? And we're at the end of this wicked man's kingdom, the wicked man being Edom, the so-called white man. All right? And that fight they put up, it was called Judgment Day. All right, so let's give applause to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, what he did with Anthony Joshua. All right, which he broke the jaw of Jake Paul, and I said at 144, call out Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right, and Anthony Joshua, his name is spiritual. It means Anthony means the priceless one, and Joshua means Yahweh Shai, which he's considered British, a UK, right, citizen, which British goes back to the Israelites being over there that kept the covenant. All right, so this was a very spiritual event last night, being that it was called Judgment Day. All right, so yesterday that fight, it said the Anthony Joshua fight, known as Judgment Day, was the professional heavyweight boxing match against YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul on December 19, 2025 in Miami, right, which they streamed it on Netflix. All right, and Anthony Joshua broke Jake Paul, which is a small hat. Jake Paul, which he's a small hat. All right, you can look it up. Let's see. I know I took an actual. There it is. He's a small hat. Which there's Israelites that look like him and that are scattered amongst the amongst the Edomite, the so-called white man, the red devil the Bible speaks of. They are the biblical red devil that the Bible speaks of. All right? Salakia. All right? Jake Paul. Small hat-ish. Wish they were. But they are not the real Jew. All right, and Anthony Joshua. All right, Anthony Joshua, being the heavyweight champion, knocks out breaks his jaw. He didn't knock him out, but broke his jaw in two places. All right, during the time of Hanukkah in 2025, the Feast of Dedication. All right, at the same time, all these prophecies happening of the Judgment Day, the day of the Lord coming, and they named this fight, and what happens? He gets sat down. All right, which was even heavier. Let me tell you something. Which was even heavier was I looked up the value or worth of these two men. Anthony Joshua, though he's a Jake, and we're in slavery right now, he's worth more than that Edomite, that small hat. The small hat is worth $200 million. Anthony Joshua, all right, is worth over $250 million. They said he made $100 million with this fight. All right, so we're in slavery, but we're bigger, we're stronger, we're better looking, we're richer than the ones that are oppressing us. All right, which that's in Genesis. That's a prophecy that there would be two nations in her womb, and one would be stronger than the other. Genesis 25, read about the birth of Esau and Jacob, the so-called white man's forefather Esau, and Jacob, the forefather of the Israelite, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian. Go ahead and get that scripture, Rico.
Con, 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 15, KJV. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judge of no yet he himself is judge of no man.
Right, himself, right? He's not judged of no man because he's judging everything spiritual. Go to Romans 8 and 1. All right? These words are spiritual. Like the name Anthony Joshua. That's a spiritual name. Being that it's speaking of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, the priceless one, the Messiah. And him being in the exact image of a dark-skinned Israelite, all right, breaking the jaw of the oppressor. All right, that's spiritual. On the time of Hanukkah, on the new moon Sabbath, a holy day, a holy time, a holy season, because we're at the end of this devil's empire, that we're at the end of the wicked ruling. We're about to go back into our land when Yahweh Shai is sent back from heaven, from the Father Yahweh to save us. All right? Go ahead.
Con, this is the book of Romans chapter 8, verse 1, KJV. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
Right, after the Spirit. According to the scriptures, the Spirit of Yahweh Shai is prophecy. All right? Which them naming that fight, Judgment Day, is prophecy. By Anthony Joshua's name, breaking down a small hat, which wished he was a Jake, right? With putting that name upon him, Jake, and then Paul meaning small, which was one of the name of the apostles, and Jake, which we call the Israelites Jake, being that they come from the Jacob, our forefather being Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. All right, they set themselves up in our land, the Ish, which wished they were a Jew. All right, the counterfeits. So that this is spiritual. Oh, and then before you had that fight, you had two women fighting, right? Which is lame enough. But then you had those two, which it was spiritual because you had the two sellouts right before it, right? And my son was telling me about it, and I asked him who fought before, and he couldn't even remember because the two sellouts was before. And then between the main fight and the two sellouts, which the sellouts was Anderson Silva and Tyrone Woodley. All right, they sold out to Jake Paul, the small hat counterfeit, and they sold out for a money bag, which they were looking sad. It was pathetic what they were looking like, right? But they were both great fighters. They're Jake, one from Brazil, and I believe the other one's from America. And they were both sold out for a bag, right? And they were looking weak on the same card of Anthony Joshua that came out. Richer, bigger, stronger, better than the oppressor. Showing you don't have to sell out. All right, but the ratio was spiritual. 2 sellouts, Anthony Joshua being the 1/3. There was 3. 2/3 are going to sell out. 1/3 are going to be saved. The 1/3 ain't going to sell out. The way they sell out in this generation is going to be by taking that implantable microchip, the mark of the beast. All right? They're going to be deceived into thinking that they need that to buy and sell, just like Jake will sell out for money, thinking that you need that to live. Life comes from Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bahasham in the name Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai, when he was tempted by Satan, he said, you don't live by bread alone in Matthew 4, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh, which the word of Yahweh speaks of Yahweh Shai, and the mouth of the Lord is the prophet. All right? So, hey, that's an example. Anthony Joshua, he took 100 million, which it wasn't even his deal. It was going to go to another fighter, Davis, but he caught some charges, so it went to Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua, he's pretty much clean cut because he ain't got no tattoos or nothing. You know? He don't keep a beard or nothing, but, you know, he was pretty much clean without tattoos. The one he replaced is, he has a whole body of tattoos. Davis does. He's a Jake also, but he got in some trouble. He's with Mayweather while he was, right? He came up with Mayweather. So all these things are spiritual, than it being called Judgment Day. You understand? Go ahead.
Khan, this is the book of Romans chapter 8, verse 2, KJV.
Oh, let me got this. That's one thing, and then you jump back. This is 1 Corinthians 10, verse 26. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. That's the point I was making with that. Go ahead.
Romans chapter 8, verse 2, KJV. Yeah. For the law of the Spirit of Paul of life in Hamashiach Yahushua hath made me free from the law of sin and death.
Right? Read that again.
Okay, Khan. Says, Romans chapter 8, verse 2 reads, for the law of the Spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahushua had made me free from the law of sin and death.
Right? So the law that Yahweh put in place, that Yahushua was going to wash us of our sins through his sacrifice, by the word we're washed and made clean, which the word of Yahweh speaks of Yahushua, and his word is for the Israelites. All right? That law, which at one time condemned us because we're sinners, now through Yahushua teaches us of life. It teaches us of what is right and what is wrong, of what was in the past and what is to be in the future, and how we should be in this time. Right? Go to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11. All right, this word, it's a sure word of prophecy.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 3. Let's see. Okay. We'll go to verse 11, and this reads, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
Right, in all holy conversation and godliness, spiritual, pertaining to the prophecy. It says in Revelation 19, let me pull it up, in 10. Revelation 19 and 10, which an angel is giving John, the revelator on the island of Patmos, a vision of what was to come in the future. Verse 10, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant. So just like Anthony Joshua, he had that power to break that Edomite's face, right? And it was a sign of the future. What are we going to do to Esau in the future? We're going to have them as slaves, and we're going to break them down, it says, into pieces. All right? Because they have to pay back for what they've done unto us. What have they done unto us? See, now he's just a man, Anthony Joshua, but he's an Israelite man. All right? Just like this spirit that was on this Israelite man dealing with giving John the Revelator the vision that Yahushua has prescribed. It says, see thou, the angel says, see thou do it not. So don't worship me. Don't worship Anthony Joshua. All right? I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren. He's an Israelite. We're the Israelites. We all have this right of what he did, to be richer than our oppressor, and to break the jaw of our enemy. This is our God-given right. Our God being Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. All right. Now we gotta wait. It says wait on the Lord. All right, because he's gonna give us that power. Just like that man, he had to go through a whole career to get that opportunity. All right? So it says, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai, worship Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, for the testimony of Yahushai is the spirit of prophecy. All right? So it's a prophecy. Judgment Day is the day that the Lord saves the Israelites that believe in Yahushai, and the day that the oppressor, his kingdom is destroyed and he's put in slavery. All right, and what do you do to slaves? You break their back, you break their jaw, you break their arm for not listening. What did they do to us? They broke us down. They broke us into pieces. They broke our family into pieces. They broke our kingdom down. See? So that's what I'm saying. By that fight, that's a spiritual thing. Being Judgment Day, in the time, in the season of a new moon Sabbath, in the time we're all testifying about Judgment Day, the day of the Lord, when Yahushua will come back. And then that man doing it, his name meaning what? Anthony Joshua, the priceless one. Yahushua, the true champion of Israel. Right? He's going to come back. And he's going to recompense them right in their bosom. And he did that. He hit him with the left to the face. And then he went back, popped him in the chest. And that's when he came with that right straight. Pow! And that's what the one. And it broke his chin. They said it broke his chin. Damn near tore his chin off his face. It broke his jaw in two places right here. So his chin was hanging by meat. All right? And he had to pay that man to have him break his jaw. That's what's going to happen when we bust your ass in the kingdom of heaven. You're going to say, thank you. May I have another? Because if you talk back, you're going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse, was that 12?
12, you're on, yeah.
Con. Says, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of power.
Which hastening means to speedily study. Because the Lord is coming. And there's going to be a day where there's a famine of the word. All right? And Jake is going to be destroyed for the lack of knowledge. All right? Because they're going to sell out. Because they don't understand what's going on. They're going to sell out like Silva and Woodley. All right? Go ahead.
Wherein the heaven being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
With fervent heat. That's that nuclear destruction. All right? What you hear in the news. Everybody's talking about a World War III. Why not a World War IV or World War V? Why not World War I? But World War III, Judgment Day, when America loses World War III and it becomes a lake of fire. And we're going to look down upon this judgment because we're going to be in heaven being changed in that chamber which Yahushua rides. The chariot which it's fit for judgment. Go ahead.
Con. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 13. Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Wherein dwelleth righteousness, which is the same earth, but under new management. See, and that's what was heavy because this guy, Jake Paul, he's been buying all these athletes, Jake, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and giving them the bag to let him embarrass them in front of the world. But Anthony Joshua, which remember, the strength of the Lord, the strength of the world is in the Lord's hand. And hey, that man, even though he's a slave in the so-called white man's kingdom, he's richer than the so-called white man. That's why that Edomite, which I believe he's an Edomite, Jake Paul, had to pay that man damn near $100 million and get his jaw broke in front of the world. That's embarrassing, right? That's a shameful defeat, especially right now in this time of racial tension. See? And that just empowers the Israelite. That who's stronger? Who's better? The Lord is with us. That's why. From the least to the greatest. Even these 2/3, they're 2/3 to glorify the elect, which glorify Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Go ahead.
Khan. Well, he's supposed to be the white hope, right?
Right.
But it turns out he wasn't.
They have no hope.
Right.
They're just going to be broken.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 14, wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless.
And that's how that man went in there looking. That Anthony Joshua, that Jake, he went in there clean. Looking like he went in there ready to fight the best. But Esau's best wasn't nothing. He was outclassed. He kept running. He kept hugging. And then once Anthony Joshua got him, boom, damn near sent his head off into the atmosphere. See? So Esau ain't got a prayer in heaven or on earth. You're not superior. All right? That's why you got to make up this false philosophy of so-called white supremacy, because you're not superior. All right? It was proven last night. It was proven in front of your German, the small mustache wearing German, when you had that Jake outrun their super soldiers back then. You're not better than us. And that's why you're fearful of us. That's why you're trying to deport us. That's why you're trying to murder us. That's why you're trying to rob us, because we're the best. The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian are the Israelites, and we're the best people on earth. The heathen, they're nothing. Isaiah 40, 2nd Ezra 6, you're nothing. All right, and it was shown last night. Go ahead.
Khan. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 15, it reads, an account that the long suffering of our Lord Yahweh
Yahushai.
Yahshai.
Yahushai. Say it right.
Okay. Our Lord Yahushai is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you.
Right. Which Apostle Paul's epistles speak of what? Yahushai's resurrection, of him living, of what was to come with Yahushai's return. Why was he beheaded? Because he was teaching of the kingdom of heaven, which was sedition against the Roman kingdom, which were in that Roman Empire reincarnated. We're in the second leg in those 10 toes. All right? And what's going to deliver us? Who's going to deliver us? Yahushai. Yahweh is going to send his son back, Yahushai. He's going to command it. His word is Yahushai made flesh. All right? And who's going to fight him? The Edomite and these other nations, the United Nations, NATO nations. All right? They're going to try to fight Yahushai and the angels. And he's the champion of Israel. All right? And he's the King of Kings. And it says, it's already prophesied. When he comes back, he's going to have many crowns. In fact, go ahead and get that. Revelation 19 and 7. We'll start from 7 when we work down, but it's in there, all right, that he has many crowns, meaning he took away your authority. Just like Anthony Joshua broke the face of Jake Paul, right? He took away his honor. And that's what Yahushua is going to do to all these heathen kings. He's going to take away their honor, take away their respect. Because everyone thinks these earthly kings have power, but they don't know real power. All right, Yahweh Shai is coming from heaven on a chariot with the host of heaven, angels, and only one angel could destroy all these men. And he's coming with the host of them. See?
Thousands.
Yeah, thousands. It says thousands upon thousands of thousands, millions, billions, trillions. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 7, KJV. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him.
Oh, how many people came to watch that fight of Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul? For them to be able to pay Anthony Joshua $100 million, there had to be a lot of people tuning in. Remember, they streamed it on Netflix, so it was worldwide, right? So let's look that up real quick. How many people watched Jake Paul fight?
Jake Paul's fight against Mike Tyson in November 2024 had huge.
How many people watched Jake Paul fight Anthony Joshua? Oh, it doesn't want to talk now. It says 108 million global viewers. See, so how many are going to tune in throughout the universe when Yahweh Shai, when Yahweh the Almighty sends his son? Everything in existence is going to tune in to Yahweh Shai destroying his enemy, the Edomite, and these other nations that come against his people that he put on earth, starting with the Judite, the so-called American Negro. Go ahead.
God. Revelation 19, continue on that verse. It says, and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready.
Right, which we're washing ourselves in this word, being converted, being born again. All right, learning all over because we were taught lies. This is a goddamn lie. All right?
Yep.
This is a goddamn lie. This money. It's an illusion. Look at Jake. They have all this money, but they ain't got no power. What's real power is to break the jaw of your enemy and not go to jail for it, not get lynched for it. Hey, they had a world champion boxer over here, Crawford, in Nebraska, and he got pulled over by a bunch of fucking racist cops. And he didn't do nothing wrong.
Con.
And these motherfucking Red Devil Americans, they can't even answer a lot of these questions about Civil War, Revolutionary War. They're ignorant to their own history.
Con.
All right? They're a pathetic sight. Soon to go into slavery. They're going to go into slavery under us. Because we're stronger. We're better.
Con.
Because Almighty God, Yahweh, is with us. And he's going to send his son, Yahweh Shai, to save us. Go ahead.
Not only that, but they have to lie to make themselves feel worthy, you know? And the truth is, they're nothing but liars, psychopaths, you know?
Yeah, but the main point is it's Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
All right? This is why they lie. Because they're trying to say they're the Jew and are not.
Yeah.
They set themselves up to be who? Yahweh Shai. They give you a false Bible like Trump, Nero, which has a Trump Bible. So they try to set themselves up as Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Revelation.
You're on Revelation? Yeah, go ahead.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 8, and it reads, and to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen,
Which is the elect of this nation. Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shai, has an elect group of Israelites that are going to be preserved and delivered. Go ahead.
clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of saints.
Right. Which is not our own righteousness. It's the righteousness of Yahweh's son Yahweh Shai. Which he was crucified. All right. Which he sinned not. And he was innocent. All right. But with that sacrifice, he covered us. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 19, verse 9 reads, And he saith unto me, Right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, These are the true sayings of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Right? So the prophets are calling to the Israelites. The elect are going to hear the calling, the prophecies, and cleave to the house of Jacob. They're going to repent to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. They're going to turn their back on this world and cleave onto the world to come through Yahweh sending his son Yahushai back. Which once again is not going to be a new world. The earth remains forever. It's just going to be under new management. All right? Just like a belt. You have a world champion. When they fight, if say the underdog wins, he takes that position of that past king. All right? Well, that's what was going to happen. You have these heathen ruling the world. The world is in wickedness under the Edomite, the so-called white man, which set himself up as a counterfeit in our land. All right? And when the Lord removes them, the champion of Israel, all right, he's going to set up the Israelites. We are the kings to come. Go ahead.
Con. Revelation chapter 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him.
Go ahead and jump down, because we already got that.
Or go to the next verse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That'll be, next verse would be Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
Which it's Yahushai coming with the chariot of the throne fit for judgment, which he rides. Yahushai is the King of Kings, and he has a throne that's like a mountain. All right, and he's coming from heaven with angels that serve him, and they all ride these chariots. They're thrones fit for judgment, meaning they shoot fire. They could destroy and they could save. All right, they're going to save the elect of Israelites, but then they're going to destroy the wicked and the wicked Israelites. The wicked starts with the so-called white race, the red devil the Bible speaks of. And these other nations are confederate with them against us. And they even got reprobates of our own people, right, that are with them against us. All right, now you see it with this false flag that happened in Australia. You got these Jake that take the bag and say, oh, these poor so-called white people, right, they're oppressed. Now they're talking about giving civil rights to so-called white people. Why? Because they're oppressed in their own kingdom. Anthony Joshua Fife. They're oppressed in their own kingdom. We're at the end of the so-called white man's kingdom. You saw the Statue of Liberty in Brazil fall from strong winds, and then we watched their white hope, so-called white hope, get his face cracked in his own kingdom. All right? Go ahead.
Con. Revelation 19, verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
So that many crowns represents him taking away the authority from the heathen king. The kings that rule on the earth now. Starting with the king of Babylon. All right? The Lord's going to take away their throne. All right? Because they're unfit. He's going to do something new on the earth. He's going to have peace instead of war. Right now, you have the wicked ruling, which they teach war. They sell weapons of war and false doctrines. All right? But we're in a time of truth. We're going into a kingdom of righteousness. All right? And it's going to be peaceful forever. But it's going to be with the heathen in our slavery, in slavery under us, and they're going to pay us back for the slavery that they've done unto us. All right, they have to pay double. all right, to pay us back, you have to go into slavery, and we're going to have you for 1,000 years. And then when you're released from that, you're going to be tributaries. You're going to bring us the best of everything you have forever, for many generations, all right? But the Edomite, they don't have no future. After that 1,000 years, they're done, all right? They're going to be made extinct because they're nothing but liars and deceivers from birth. Go ahead.
Con. Revelation chapter 19, reading on, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself.
Right, which no one knows what this is going to be like, right? The glory that Yahushua is coming with, but it tells you in the scriptures that Yahushua, he wants to share that glory with his elect that the Father gave him. So he's waiting to come back and to lay it down. Just like Anthony Joshua, you don't think he wanted to break that dude's face. All right, I'm sure everybody does, because all he did was go around buying, world-class fighters, giving them the bag so he could humiliate them. When you could clearly see that this dude could be, whooped easily, and that's what Anthony Joshua did. He made it look like easy work. All right, he played with him. All right, like a father playing with his child, right? And then, bop, with one punch to the face, he broke his damn jaw. Sat him down, shut him up. Now he can't even talk. His mouth all wired shut. Can't eat. He's all fucked up. This is how Esau's going to go through the kingdom. He's going to be in that time a slave, and we're going to have our foot up his ass. Like white on rice. We're going to be stomping him out. All right? We're going to stick our foot down his throat. And that's why he's coming down with great wrath, because he knows his time is short, to the point that he's going to go into slavery. All right? And that's why he's going to fight like hell, because he don't want to go into slavery. And you shouldn't. That's your lot to play. But you're going into slavery. There ain't nothing you can do about it. You can't stop it. Hey, we didn't want to go through it. Yahushua, when he was about to go on the cross, he really didn't want to go because of the flesh. But he wanted to do the will of the Father. So he suffered it. See? But you think we wanted to go through this? But it had to be done. See? So you are definitely going into slavery. All right? And we expect you to fight, kick, scream the whole way through it. Go ahead.
Not only that, but they're going to get that double trouble,
Yeah.
Revelations 19 verse 13 reads, and he has clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Right? Which is Yahushai. And that dip, his garment dipped in blood, is talking about what he's coming to do. Many are going to die. All right? And where do you find that information? In the Word of Yahweh, the Holy Scriptures speak of Yahushai. Go to Psalm 2.
Psalms 2. Psalm 2, verse 1?
Yeah.
Come on. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 2. And we'll start at verse 1. And it says, why do the heathens rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
But you think they're going to overcome us and keep us in slavery. Lamentations 4. But the Lord is going to visit you, Esau. Go ahead.
It says, Psalms 2, verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, then it goes to verse 3.
Right.
Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
So that's the intentions of the heathen. To try to break us up, put us in FEMA camps, all right? Try to oppress us, all right? But they're going to find themselves in slavery. They're going to be the first to go into slavery. The elite of these different nations, they got billionaire bunkers, and they're going to be preserved outside of America to go into slavery. All right, they imagine a vain thing, thinking that they're going to keep us in slavery. There's no nation ever kept us in slavery forever. Not even the Edomites, the Greeks, or the Romans. They both failed. Go ahead.
Con. Psalms 2 verse 4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord power shall have them in derision.
Right, which Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shai, through the elect, have them in derision. We're telling you about their shame. That derision, when you look into that word, it means like a mocking. All right? We're telling you that the Edomite ain't shit. All right? They ain't shit. They'll never be shit. All right? They're nothing. 2nd Ezra 6 and Isaiah 40. The heathen are nothing. And Esau, it tells you he's the lowest of man. He's the worst. That's why our food is defiled, our water is defiled, our air is defiled. They defile the children, they defile the women, the men, right? Why? Because they're the devil, the Bible speaks of. They're nothing. All right? Go ahead.
Con. Psalm chapter 2 verse 5, then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure.
Right, displeasure with that. First the prophecies, then the plagues, pangs and sorrows. The Lord has sent prophets, starting with Abba Bivens, till now, which we're at the very end of this. All right? This is why you see in the MOTB come into reality, the mark of the beast, the implantable microchip, which if you're a believer in what we're saying according to the Bible, do not accept that chip. Death is gain in that situation. All right? And then after that chip is made mandatory worldwide for buying and selling, nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great. They're going to lose World War III. All right? And this place is going to become a lake of fire. All right? Go ahead.
Con. The book of Psalms chapter 2 verse 6 reads, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion.
Which is Yahweh Shai. Revelation 14. Mount Zion with the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai, which was sacrificed. There's 144,000 elect men, starting with King David. All right, go ahead.
Con. Psalms 2 verse 7, I will declare the decree, the Lord Yahweh hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee.
Right, which he said that to King David's son, who became King Solomon. All right, Solomon, the son of King David, became king of Israel. All right, and then he died and was reincarnated as Yahweh Shai. All right, through Joseph and Mary. Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 2 verse 8, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathens for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
And this is really the deeper part of why we had to go through slavery through all these different nations. They're going to be our slaves. Yahweh is just, and we had to go through it, right? We had to drink of that bitterness, and now we're about to get the sweetness, the blessings, all right, which we taste of the curses. Now we're going to get the blessings, which when you go into Deuteronomy 28, it tells you everything's going to be opposite. Instead of being poor, we're going to be the richest, all right? Instead of having short and tedious lives, we're going to have long and prosperous lives, meaning we'll never die, all right? Everything we touch, everything we do is going to turn to gold. Right now, you buy a car, the car breaks down. You know, you get tires, they get flats. You get a wife, she cheats. You have a child that dies. Everything's going to be opposite. Instead of having one child and that child dying or being taken by social services, right? We're going to have earths of children. Earths, all right? We're going to have planets of children. We're going to multiply like we were created to do. We're going to have wealth to the point where there will be no hunger. There will be no poor amongst our people. Even the other nations, it says, these heathen are going to rejoice because we're ruling over them. Right now, the people lament because the wicked are ruling. But the heathen have no slavery. That's Satan. The heathen have no salvation. They have slavery coming. All right? Isaiah 40. Let me grab this real quick. Verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as a small dust of the balance. Meaning they're not important. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. All right. Verse 17. All nations, talking about the heathen, before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. Let me get it. And I bet you that's how that Anthony Joshua looked at that Jake Paul, as nothing. All right? He fought better fighters than that Jake Paul. Why would he think of him as anything when he knows he is nothing? That's how Yahushua looks at Esau. You're nothing. You know, you have money, so fucking what? Your money is about to have no value. Your rights, your own government is voiding your rights. War, you're about to go to war with the world. World War III, and America's going to lose. It's about to become a lake of fire. Nuclear missiles are going to turn America into a lake of fire. You were supposed to destroy Russia. Why couldn't you do it? Because Russia was created to destroy America. You poisoned the Israelite food. You destroy us, but why haven't you completely destroyed us? Because you can't. You can't. It ain't that you got so-called a conscience towards the so-called Negro or Latino or Native American Indian. It's because there's a higher power that is looking out for us. He cares about us. And he don't love you, heathen. You're nothing. All right? It says right here in the NLT, Isaiah 40 verse 17, the nations of the world are worth nothing to him. In his eyes, they count for less than nothing, mere emptiness and froth. So they're not even the main character in the movie. They're like the extras that you don't even know about. You don't even hear about at the end of the movie. They're just filling up void space. See? The Lord cares about the Israelite, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian. And that's why he's taken us from so many captivities and made us overcome. All right? Because he's with us. It tells you that in Malachi 3 and 6. The Lord does not change. Yahweh does not change. For this is why we're not completely destroyed. All right? Go ahead.
Khan. This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 9. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
And we're going to do that with gold scepters. All right? Look up the video, Bugs Bunny and Sirloin. And he has a golden scepter, and he's beating that Edomite conquistador over the head. Bam! Bam! And it gets broken and bent. And guess what? We'll just get a new one. Bam! Bam! Thank you. May I have another? You're too kind. That's what our pleasure is going to be. We're going to be breaking down these heathen with golden pipes. See, we're going to crush you. We're going to break your face. It tells you we're going to do all the things you did to us. Now, we're not going to be wicked like you used to sexually abuse the Israelites. Like you'd molest a man right? You look up the movie Pulp Fiction. All right. You also used to rape the women. All right. That's why you got terrors. All right. Which they still do these things. All right. We're not gonna break the Lord's law, but within the laws of Yahweh, we're gonna get payback on you. Go ahead.
Yeah, because you're wicked, and the Lord hates sin. He can't stand sin.
Yeah. But Esau don't sin. The Israelites that sin. But when you go into captivity, all right, you're gonna go into captivity because you did overstep with keeping us in slavery. You're supposed to let us go.
Con.
Just like Pharaoh. Pharaoh was supposed to let him go. But the Lord is in control. And he didn't let Pharaoh let him go. See, so Esau, all right, let me grab that real quick. Lamentations. Because the only ones that could sin are Israelites because we were given the law. All right? No other nation was given the law. Now, Lamentations 4, verse 22, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. The Israelite, our iniquity was our sin. We sinned, so this is why we're in captivity. It says, he will no more carry thee away into captivity, talking about the Edomite. He will visit thine iniquity. O daughter of Edom, he will discover thy sin. So the sin of Edom is not breaking the law like the Israelite. It's not letting us go. You were supposed to let us go, but you refused to. Just like Pharaoh. Let me grab that real quick. Romans 9 verse 4. Not 4. Romans 9 verse 15. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. It says in verse 17, for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up. So you've got two people, two nations, one to show mercy and one to show hatred towards. All right? Just like you have a wife and a concubine. Which a concubine, you don't show the same love that you have for a wife. All right? So that's what the Lord's doing. He's using Esau and these other nations like hoes. And then he's going to throw them away. They're nothing. Right? You go fuck a prostitute, she's nothing. But now your wife at home, the mother of your children you care about. Well, that's what the Lord is doing with the Israelite. He loves us. We're his wife. The other nations are nothing. All right? Just little sluts that he uses. It says, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee. So he raised up Pharaoh to destroy him, just like Esau. All right? His kingdom is known as what? The great whore. And what's he going to do with this great whore? He's going to destroy her, chop her up with those nuclear missiles, break her down. Right? It says, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. And this fulfillment will cause the world to fear the Lord. It says in Isaiah 59, because he's not wicked for doing it, it's righteous. All right? So it says in Isaiah 59 verse 17, for he put on righteousness as a breastplate, and an helmet of salvation upon his head. And he put on the garments of vengeance, talking about Yahweh Shai, for clothing, and was clad with zeal as a cloak. So he's coming with judgment, and this is a righteous judgment that he's going to display on earth. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay, fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies, which recompense meaning pay you back. To the islands he will repay recompense. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. so that the whole world fears him. Just like if you had a kingdom and you took a whore in the middle of that kingdom and you chopped her ass up in front of everybody. That would put fear. There's a movie, I believe it's Robert De Niro, and it's called The Untouchables. And it's talking about Scarface, Al Capone. All right? And they show this part where he has his whole kingdom on the table where they're all sitting around the table. And he's talking about that cop played by Costner, the one from Dances with the Wolves, Kevin Costner. He's pursuing him as a cop. And that Robert De Niro character playing Capone, he knows there's a snitch among his people being a whore, and he takes a baseball bat and bashes the head of that guy's head in front of all the other ones. To do what? Put fear in their heart of him. That's what the Lord's going to do. He's going to take these devils and destroy their kingdom and then extinct them. All right? After he allows us to break them down. All right? It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, which they're going to send military troops to try to fight the elect. They got robots. They got all kinds of shit that they're going to try to destroy us. It says, the Spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. See? So, just like that Jake Paul, he had a good run of sellout Israelites. But then the Lord altered it to where he had to face Anthony Joshua instead of Davis. And what happened? He got some judgment put on his ass. He hit him with some pepper, right? Threw some salt in his eye. Well, that's what the Lord's going to do with Esau. Esau's coming in thinking he's going to slaughter us, right? In his mind, he thinks he's going to succeed. But really, they're going to fail. They're going to go into slavery. They're going to go into perdition. It says, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahweh. My spirit that is upon thee. And what's heavy was that man that he was going to fight before Davis, David being a holy name. And he was trying to humiliate Davis. And who stepped in? Anthony Joshua. Priceless Yahweh Shai is going to fight for the house of David. See? It says, and my words which I have spoken, verse 21, as for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahweh, my spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth, which are prophecy, shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith Yahweh, for from henceforth and forever. All right? So we got the victory. It's already written. It's already written. And when it becomes too much for us to handle, Yahweh's going to send his son Yahweh Shai, which he's coming with a host of angels to fight for us. All right? Go ahead.
Han. Psalms chapter 2, verse 10. Be wise now there. It says, be wise now therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges,
which are
of
the Israelite elect. Those kings and judges it's talking about are Yasharallah, the princes of power, the Israelites. If you're smart, you'll go into these scriptures and read them to understand them. If you're not, you refuse it, you reject it, and you're going to die without it. Go ahead.
It says, judges of the earth. Psalms 2, verse 11. Serve the Lord Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling.
Right. If you don't fear, you're dumb. Because you don't understand. The Lord could fuck you up. All right? And he's going to do that to them that have not. He's going to put them in the lake of fire. And they're going to burn. And they're going to wish they would have listened. They're going to wish they would have took heed. We have a sure word of prophecy. And you Israelites would do well if you took heed. Pay attention to what we're saying. All right? The prophets. Now you got false prophets and true prophets. But it's in your place, in your position, that you have to discern between which ones are true and which ones are false. All right, you got false prophets telling you that there is no Jacob's trouble or no mark of the beast or the heathen could make it. Those are false prophets. The true prophets are telling you the way is narrow. Repent or be destroyed. Salvation is only for the Israelite. And that the mark of the beast is the implantable microchip which comes before the nuclear destruction of this great whore, Babylon the Great. America is going to lose World War III. Go ahead.
Con. Psalms 2, verse 12. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little.
So you don't read the Bible, eventually you don't believe. You lose your faith. Your faith comes from the hearing of these words and seeing it come to pass. It says that you don't kiss the Son, you're going to perish from the way. The way is Yahushua. Yahushua is the Son. Kiss the Son, meaning acknowledge Him, honor Him. He's in the Bible from the beginning to the end, including the Apocrypha. But you got Jake still worshiping this motherfucking thing. Calling on this name. And that name is goddamned. So if you call on that name, you're goddamned. Alright? The only salvation is in the name of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. And that's for them that believe. The reprobates don't believe, and you're going to die with that unbelief. The unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. That's a sure word of prophecy. This is only for the Israelites that believe. He says you got to believe on Him as it is written. And the Bible wasn't originally written in English. Like IUIC says. Oh, you only need to know the English. No, you don't. You need to know the Hebrew. You need to know the Greek, the Latin. All right? So that you could understand these things. You're supposed to search them out. But instead, Jake's out here searching out other shit. Vain bullshit. They're trying to save their lives, not realizing that they're losing their lives. The only thing that keeps you alive is Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. But Jake is going to sell out for the bag. Sell out for a reputation in this fucking corrupt world. See? Sell out for a fucking bitch that don't even love you. Can't even love herself, and you're going to fucking sell out for a bitch. Because these women are going to be the ones that put on those fake fucking tears to get you to take that chip. And if you follow a woman, you're going to be in that ditch. Because that bitch ain't going to be able to see nothing besides her stomach hurting. You see? But that's why the Lord sent up men, Israelite men, to tell you the truth. But instead of taking heed, you want to make us an enemy. So you're going to die in that unfaithfulness. You're going to be ashamed. Just like Silva and Woodley had to be ashamed when they saw fucking Anthony Joshua bust that fucking cracker right in the face that whooped them. That's how them 2/3 are going to be. They're going to be fucking in shame that they didn't take heed and fear the Lord. And honor Him and serve Him with fear and trembling. Instead, they were worried about all this other bullshit. Not realizing that Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai is controlling all this. He controls the weather. There's a fucking hurricane hitting Colorado. Who sent that hurricane? Earthquakes, fire, flooding, death, destruction. Who is doing this? Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. And nothing else could save anyone but the Israelite. And then not even all Israel is going to be saved. It's only for the Israelites that believe in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. The unbelieving Israelite is going to be destroyed. Right.
And we're giving them warning, you know, this
Right.
is to seek out the Lord before it's too late.
Yep. Before that day comes where He bring out that chip and you're given over to it. And then you're going to be destroyed. Go ahead.
On Psalms chapter 2, on that verse, it says, "Blessed are all they that put their trust in Him."
Right, they put their trust in Him. Right? You know what? The floor 2x6 in a house. All right, it's called a truss. All right, that's what it is. You're dwelling in that truss, in that house of David, the house of Jacob. Grab Isaiah 14:1. The word truss used to talk about a piece of wood in a house floor. See, it's truss.
You're thinking of a floor truss, not trust.
Right,
It's a
but the
triangular
word truss
framework
goes
designed
back
to support floors over long
for the
distances.
support.
They're prefabricated,
All right?
strong,
It's spelled different than
pikes and wires
trust,
compared to regular floor trusts.
but the word truss, all right, it's being that you trust it holding the weight. See, it says trust. It's not trust, it's trust. But it goes into you having trust for this board to support the weight that house is going to have inside of it. The family that's going to dwell in it, which they're going to have furniture, they're going to have children, and the trust, you got to trust that it will keep its integrity. All right? It says a framework typically consisting of rafters, posts, and struts supporting a roof bridge or other structure. All right? Let me get the etymology now. Etymology.
Is that TRUSS?
Yeah. Let me see. Here's the etymology online. Truss pertaining to a noun, a person, place, or thing. It says truss, wrapped bundle of clothing travelers packed. So really it pertained to a person. You see, a noun is a person, and where that person is, that place or thing, which the traveler carried on their back. It says, collection of things bound together for what? A person's use. It says, or trouse, parcel, package, bundle. All right? Which that's what the Lord's going to do. He's going to bundle the elect. It tells you that in Obadiah. Let me grab that real quick. And then you can grab that.
Sure.
It says, Obadiah, I'll start at 15. And verse 15, it says, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. So there is no salvation for the heathen. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Because the whole earth is going to be under our dominion. So there ain't going to be no false idols. There ain't going to be no false religions. All right? Everyone on the earth is going to worship Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai when we rule. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness in the house of Jacob. Remember, a trust pertains to a house. House of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And when you have possessions, you put it what? On the truss of the house. Trusting that the house will support that weight. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. Let me jump up. It says in verse 9, It says, and thy mighty men, O T-man, which is talking about the German Edomites, shall be dismayed to the end, that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. See? So in the house of Israel, pertaining to the house of David, not the house of Saul, but to the house of David, the house of Jacob, all right, we're able to rest because we have peace in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, even though we're in perilous times, in a time of judgment. All right, the truth shall set you free. But now in Esau's house, there's fear. Why? Because they're going to go into slavery. They can't trust anything no more. Remember, Jake Paul was their white hope. What happened? His house got broken. See? So that was a spiritual event, prophetic of what's to come with the nations of Jacob and Esau. Esau is the elder, but he's going to serve the younger. Because Esau and Jacob were created to show the will of the Lord, that Yahweh loved Jacob and hated Esau. Go ahead.
Con. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right, to the house of Jacob. Right? Once again, we have faith. The house of Esau don't have faith. They say they're atheists. They have no God. The reason why is because if they were to admit there was a God, the true God of the Bible, then who's the devil? And they can't condemn themselves. Satan can't condemn himself. See? So the Lord set up prophets of the house of Jacob to condemn Esau. That's the last verse in Obadiah. There shall be saviors. This is talking about the Israelites following Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and we're telling the Israelites the truth. That's what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai did for the elect. He gave us the truth, the light. All right? In the house of Israel, in the time of Egypt, there was light. During the plague of darkness, there was no light in the Egyptians' house. You understand? There's a division on earth. There's a division amongst the heathen. All right? The Lord don't love the heathen like he loved the Israelites. Now, he don't even, right now, love all the Israelites. He loves the Israelites of the elect, which these reprobates will come back after they're destroyed. All right, they'll come back as children born righteously. But the rest of the heathen, the Lord don't, he said, you're nothing. That's why he don't show you the truth. All right, and when you do hear about it, all you can do is scoff and talk shit. All right, go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their places.
Right, which we're going to take them back to our kingdom, because they're going to go into slavery. Not when we go up into the chariot. We're going to be taken into the chariot, nuclear destruction of Babylon, the fire that destroys all those military men that come out of the chariot. The earth is going to shake, and a lot of people are going to die worldwide. But there's going to be pockets of people of different nations throughout the world that survive in the rocks, in bunkers, right? And when we come down, we're going to have new bodies. We're going to be gods on earth, all right? And we're going to go and get these heathen that survived and put them in chains and enslave them, all right? And off of that, we're going to breed them, all right, into slavery for 1,000 years. This is why they're going to be re-educated. And they're all going to serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai under the Israelite, which the Israelite has salvation, not the other nations. Go ahead.
Con. Okay, back to Isaiah chapter 14. on that verse, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
And that's what I'm saying with that Anthony Joshua fight. He's still a slave, right? He still had to wake up in a mortal body in Esau's kingdom. But for a moment, we saw the future, where he's richer, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's better, and he got the better hand. He broke your face. I guarantee you, he went home. Now, you know, in this world, they got to sell out, but there's rewards that come with all that, right? You get women. He got 100 million, right? But we're gonna get rewarded. All right, we have rewards coming with Yahweh Shai. His reward is with him. All right, if we endure into the end faithfully.